Hello everyone, I'm Rosie and I'm here to talk about the second module of Mass Observation Project, which is publishing this spring. Following the publication of our first module last year that covered the 1980s, this new module will make available the material created and collected by Mass Observation Project at the University of Sussex during the 1990s. Mass Observation Project is a unique national life writing project about everyday life in Britain, capturing the experiences, thoughts and opinions of everyday people in the 21st century. Launched in 1981 by the University of Sussex as a rebirth of the 1937 project that recorded wartime Britain, the project continues to commission new research and is a valuable resource for research, teaching and learning. It's one of the major repositories of longitudinal qualitative social data in the UK. Unlike the project that ran from the 1930s to 60s, which was a mixture of the observations of recruited observers, diaries and directives being very open-ended questionnaires on specific topics, when Mass Observation Project was relaunched in 1981, they decided to focus purely on commissioning and gathering responses to directives. So the project is a dialogue between the Mass Observation panel at the university composing and sending out the directives and the observers sending back their responses. During this period, directives were sent out seasonally, usually 3 times a year in the spring, summer and autumn winter. If something happened that the project panelists wanted the observers' immediate thoughts on, then a special directive would be sent out. And an example of this during the 1990s was following the death of Princess Diana. During the 1990s, just under 30 directives were issued, and most of these were made up of multiple parts on different topics. So by the end of the decade, respondents had been asked about 66 topics in total. This module contains over 23,000 responses that were received. And as with Module 1, each one of these responses has now been individually indexed and matched with biographical data for each respondent, such as age, region, occupation, marital status, allowing users to filter the responses by these. So what were the observers asked about in the 1990s? The directive themes are broad-ranging and balanced between the personal, such as growing older, images of where you live, taking risks, the political, such as the general elections, the Gulf conflict, the EU, and historical, such as the death of Diana. The nature of the project and the large range of themes make it extremely multidisciplinary. So here is a small selection of narratives from the collection that I and also the project team that have been working on it have pulled out to highlight. The first is the royal family. So the 1990s was quite a difficult period for the royals, as we know, with the Queen declaring 1992 her annus horribilis, and with the death of Diana in 1997. Little polarised or provoked such strong reactions from the mass observers, quite like the royal family, as you can see from some of the quotes on the slide here. Another very topical narrative I've pulled out is Britain's relationship with the EU, which can be explored through responses reacting to events such as withdrawal from the ERM and sanctions on British beef. The responses also reveal changing attitudes towards sex and relationships, not only demonstrating a difference in attitudes to today, but as many observers reflect on their parents' attitudes or how attitudes have changed within their own lifetimes. This is just one example of how the resource can be used not only to study the 1990s as a period, but also the wider second half of the 20th century. Users of the resource will be able to browse and filter by any particular directive they might be interested in, but also by the observer, as each observer has been assigned a code for anonymity, or by key biographical data such as all observers living in the northeast of England or all observers born in the 1950s and so on. Users can filter by key topics within the directives as well, which have been assigned by our editorial team. All printed sources are full text searchable and the manuscript responses have handwritten text recognition applied to them. Alongside the primary source content, contextual additional features such as essays, an interactive chronology and exhibitions produced by the team at the archive will be available as a starting point for those less familiar with the material. It's been a really fascinating project to work on and we're really looking forward to publishing it in the coming weeks.
One question for Rosie about the mass observation project. What topics will the additional features cover?
Hi, Hans. Yes, so we're going to have a range of additional features, as I said, and the essays are going to cover topics such as the 1997 general election, the social divisions directive, which is extremely interesting, women and work, and then also we're hoping to have a video interview that talks about the 1990s as a period of historical study. And then the exhibitions that I mentioned are going to, well, they've been written by members of the archive team at the University of Sussex, and they've written on managing the mass observation archive and, recruiting new observers, and also on the death of Diana as kind of a pivotal and, standout moment from the 1990s as a decade.